Well, hello there, magic monsters. Welcome to the stream. I have to say, every day off work tomorrow. So today is my Friday, as they say. And I am ready for it. How are you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. Today we're doing something very interesting. Hello, Jack. How are you? Today, let me get this the right size. Today, I'm continuing work on something that none of you have seen because it's brand spanking new. Because I was working on Legend of the Stones. This says Legend of the Stones. And in this process, updating it to Game Modules 4, which makes a lot of sense, I was bringing in the old stuff and I had my old little compass. And I liked my little compass. Glad you're doing fine, Jack. I liked my little compass, but then I thought to myself, well, my little compass can be better. And now we have Midjourney, so I was like, well, let me make a cooler looking compass. And then I did, and then I was like, well, let me take it one step further. And you know how things go. And now we've got this. So I'm just going to press play here, and we can see what I've got here going on. And there's just some demo objects here, just a few demo objects, but you can get a sense of what exactly this might be here. And it's still a work in progress, but we've got so much going on here. So we have a compass up here at the top, and the compass has the purple thing right up here is pointing north. The blue thing in the middle is pointing in the player direction. The compass rotates to keep the player facing forward. And then this blue thing is rotating differently from the rest. If you notice that, it's actually pointing to another position. In this case, it's pointing to this position. So you got multiple data points there, and of course all these other points on the compass as well. When you go away from them, and this is just the top right compass, I'll talk about the rest in a bit. They go to the edge, and eventually they gently fade out. The other two things don't fade out because they are handled differently. They're a different thing than the floating thing. And then we've got, of course, these overlays on the things, and again, these will fade out gently if we get too far away too. I don't know exactly where the point is, but at some point they will fade out. Apparently I set it pretty far away. Look at that. Whoops. Oh, there they are. So this far away they fade away and they fade back in. And then we have the sideways one. So if you're on the side, now on the left side here, you've got those icons. And what's really neat about these, if you look really closely, as I slowly rotate them in, see they transition from one to another, from the overlay to the edge. So they're not just like popping through. And I don't know, I've seen others and they just pop. And I didn't want mine to pop. I wanted mine to transition, so you can transition them and you can control everything. So even if you look at the color right here on the bottom left one, well, first the arrow is different, the icons, you can control the icon, but even the color is different. This bottom one transitions from white to orange as it comes in. So you can transition there, so that's always fun. They go around the screen. And then the very top is the thing I've been working on last night, a horizontal direction bar. Just got some placeholders here for some north, south, east, west, all that, and some ticks in the middle. And we're going to do some cool stuff in the little arrow just to help you see the middle, to know exactly which direction you're facing, if it matters to you to know exactly which direction you're facing. So that's all of this is what I'm calling Northstar. It's going to be on the asset store because I think it's pretty swell. And I'm going to use it for Legend of the Stones. I don't know which aspects, because I imagine that using all of these all at once is kind of overkill, but every game is different. I was actually playing New World last night for educational purposes only, in order to see, how they did it. And they have a neat blending of overlays and directional, the horizontal bar. They don't use the sideways ones. They don't use a corner one. But what I did like about them is the way that they handle different objects differently. And one of the things that I'm building into this is that flexibility where each object that's being tracked has its own options. So if we look at our, this is the overlay itself. This is stuff shown at runtime, so you can see what objects are being tracked and where their icons are. You can see things like the distance, and other information about them. And then you also have this general information. Then you've got your setup right here. And the setup, I'll just press stop real quick and show, and then we'll get into coding. The setup's pretty simple. You start with an overlay settings object. So you've got your overlay settings. I'll collapse all these. And you can create, these are scriptable objects, so you can create as many as you want for different looks. Starting with a default one, this will ship with it just because it's just going to be default. You can set for screen overlay your standard default icon. Each object can choose its own icon, but you start with your own default icon. You can choose the color, the size of it. You can choose to use a size curve so that over the distance that you set, there's always a minimum and maximum distance. It can go on this size curve. So here it's closest on the left, so it's always going to be at 1, and then at the end when you get far away, it just fades out to 0. You can use an opacity curve, set the opacity, and use an opacity curve, same thing. So again, with this curve, once you get really close, it fades out, so it gently fades away rather than just poofing and snapping away. So you can set those. And that's going to be for the screen overlay. You can set different ones for the edge overlay. So this is basically how, when it transitions to the edge, you can, oftentimes you'll have the same settings. So there's a button here that just copies the data over. But you might want a different size and other things. So these are the generic, or not generic, but the default settings for the edge overlay. Edge arrow. So the edge, we'll press play again, has both the icon and the arrow. Now, both of them are optional. Hello, Shadowed Souls Studios. It's going okay. The weekend starts now, and I am getting drunk on iced coffee. And no alcohol, just iced coffee. So the arrow exists and the icon exists, but you can turn these off. So you can essentially turn off the icon entirely, and then you just have the icon, or turn off the icon and just have the arrow. You can choose whether the arrow will rotate or not, and other things like that. You still have the other options, but you also have the initial color, initial size, and initial opacity, and that is playing the role. So here, just paying attention to this one on the right here. I know it might be a little small on the screen, but as we transition to and from, you can see the size change and maybe the opacity a little bit too. And that's, you see the opacity and size are changing. So that's that initial. It starts off smaller and at no opacity. As it blends into the full shape, it goes through this. That controls that nice transition. So it's a much more pleasing effect than the snap would be. And then finally, the compass bar. This is a work in progress. This is what I'm working on today. Same deal. You've got all the same options. The thing is that you might want to control things differently. So for example, in the wonderful game New World, there are quests which have a much longer, they have a different look to them, but they also have a longer distance. And so those are things that you're going to be able to control. And so you might want things to act differently. So these are just the generic things. You've got your distance here. You have your edge distance. We're going to have to add compass bar distance too. They're probably going to be the same, but they don't have to be the same, and that's the important bit, your offsets. And so I've got a couple of those in this already. And then I've got another one for locations where really the only difference is the color and the size is a little bit different and stuff too, just to show the fact that you can override them. We also have global settings somewhere. I think that's an automatically created thing, and it's, where does it get created? Northstar. And this just has your world angle and your world north, or north angle. So north angle is 0. That's generally what people might expect. 0's up on this. And then world north, you can set that, and that will change the way the compass acts. So there's a global thing. And that just gets automatically created for you if you don't have it. So you can't go wrong there. And then the last thing, is it the last thing? Maybe it's the last thing. I don't know. Is the targets themselves. So there's two more things. This is the compass. So the compass has a compass component on it, and you have your required stuff here. So you said who your player is, the thing that you're tracking, your default tracked icon prefab. That's what those red little things going up there. Again, that can be, the individual tracked items can override that, but you need a default. Your Northstar settings that you're going to be using. This is the global settings, and that's automatically populated for you, so it's just there so you can find it. You have your detection range. That's going to be for the compass itself. Object range, instructions on each one. You can choose fading on distance, fading on delta. If you turn those off, the options go away. And then you get your preset objects, and so that's where we've got 3 here. We've got this one on the, we got the north point, which is always pointing north, the location, and the other one. And the thing is about this, that I haven't set up the other ones because I was building them, but you could have any number of compasses. And I've made a number of art things with both Midjourney and my own fat skills on Photoshop. But there's a lot of, I haven't set these up. I gotta set them up. I've changed the code a lot since I set these up. I'll just show some of the look and feel of them, of the ones that I've put together, so you can get a sense of what they do. And of course, they all can be rotating independently of the others. So how these work together is completely up to you. So in this case, this one rotates like this, and you have the outer ring rotating and the arrow rotating, but the inner circle doesn't rotate. So you could do all sorts of things with this. Just use our art or throw it in your own art. This is another cool one. Some dude's face instead is rotating. You can. This one has a top ring, so it gets a little fade effect over it as well. How sweet is that? There's actually another face one that I like even more. It's somewhere in here. Simple arrow. There's lots of different ones. I'm a local. This one, I really like this face one. So you can make the whole face. Whoops. Here we go. You can make the whole face move, or you can just use this as the needle, or you can keep the face. Whoops. Uh-oh. I think what did I just do? I accidentally selected all. Okay. Oh boy. Now I need to close all. Hold on. Alright. What? Okay. Or you can select just the background and make that turn. But that one you probably wouldn't want to do that, I suppose. It didn't look that good. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ones that you can do, from simple to not simple. But all of it's going to be customizable. All of it is going to be something that you can do. And then there's also radar. So this is the other one. I think this one is working. Let's find out. The radar has the special thing to the radar is that it's got the ability to ping things. Yeah, so now you can see we've got the radar thing going there, and they're pinging the objects. So as we go around, they get updated. As we get closer, they'll ping. So just classic radar thing. You have options. You can show the movement if you really want to, or other things. I don't have anything fancy, Jason. I'm just a lowly coder guy. I don't have nothing. Plus, they're not set up. Oh, yeah. So the ping is really cool. That's fun. There's going to be, once I get everything else up, I'm going to have a system where you just additional scripts where you can throw a script onto a target, and then if the ping system is working, then the sides will ping as well. So, they'll all work together nicely. So you can get that. And then the overlay controls the rest. So all the other things are controlled by the overlay. So that was the compass. And then the rest are the overlay. Compass and radar are kind of the same thing. They both have a... are they going to be the same thing? I guess they're similar. What are they? I think radar inherits from compass, essentially. Because radar is a compass that just does a little bit more. But then the Northstar overlay is everything else. And so on the object itself, this is going to be a canvas object. Or a panel rather, under a canvas, a UI panel, is going to be just a prefab you bring in. You can customize everything. So these are just UI elements, and I'm going to eventually show a demo of how you can code this to do different things and whatnot, to customize it so you can make it really your own. So you got different things: your camera, your overlay icon, default stuff, your overlay settings, your default settings. And then you can choose to turn them off, etc. This is new, so I haven't added the right UI for showing all of them are disabled and stuff like that. So then the other thing, I haven't made this pretty yet, but this is the Northstar compass bar. You have evergreen objects, which in this case is all our direction, our tick marks, so you can customize those as well. You have your options for the general way it works. These objects themselves have a script where you can just set their basic details, whether they fade at the edge, whether they clamp at the edges. You can make it so they clamp. You can make it so they don't clamp. Up to you. Completely up to you. Staying up late or getting up early, or a combination of the two. So you got all those. What else do we got here? Anything else yet? Oh, the other thing, the targets. Yes, so the tracked targets. These are the things that get tracked. And so when you have a tracked target, let me bring the demo goal target up. If you have a overlay settings thing here, because these ones are just default, they have a type called default. There's going to be scripting where you can change the values of all of a certain type. So you can be like, turn on all, like imagine a skill, you suddenly get the new skill where you can see berries. So now you can turn on all berries or make them more apparent for the user, stuff like that. So you'll be able to code it so that you can have it be more dynamic to your game. So there's just a type of string there. But if you put in a settings here, then you get all these other fancy options with the expectation that if you don't have the settings, you're going to use the default settings. And that's probably fine for a lot of cases. But if you do have the settings, then you have the option to override things. So you get these nice toggles and you can choose like, okay, for this one, we don't want it to do a screen overlay. Or we want it to always do a screen overlay. Maybe the default is you don't use the screen overlay, but for some things like locations, you do want to use a screen overlay. So you can override things. You can override all of those. You can override all of these. So you can choose the settings are actually here. So you put the actual settings into this scriptable object, and then on the target you can choose which parts of those settings to override. If I change this color here, then it changes it on the scriptable object as well. So something to consider. And if I undo a lot, it doesn't do anything. So okay, that's something for me to consider. Yeah, so you can do that. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of customizable stuff. You can change your curves. You can customize everything about it. You can customize the options. You can customize the screen distance. So for locations, you can say, well, locations, we're going to show those when they're 1,000 meters away. So that's the gist of it. Now I need to finish working on the horizontal bar here. So first I need to remember where the heck I left off last night. Last night it was 86 degrees at midnight, and I went right on my electric bike, and it was freaking wonderful. What's going on here? Oh. Geez. All right. So we have these. We don't have any objects showing on them yet, so we need to show the objects. Probably should just turn off the edge one while we have this on, because that's annoying, right? That going back and forth. But look at that. By the way, I have to thank publicly Uri for helping me with some of the scripting. The AI was not cooperating when it came to some of my tries here, and I spent a good 10 hours or so. Eventually, Uri helped me. So Uri is a very nice person, and I appreciate you. What even time is it in Ireland? Was it 3 a.m.? Or I guess you're the western side, so not 3 a.m., maybe 2 a.m. So yeah, so we need to get the objects on them. So that happens, and we're going to do a lot of refactoring. So trust me when I say we're going to do a lot of refactoring. How does that happen? Where does it happen? I think it's Northstar overlay. Let's open up our thing. What was I looking at? I had more scripts open, but then my freaking thing crashed, and then, yeah. We're probably going to be using some AI here from time to time because I like the AI helping me. Northstar overlay. Add screen overlay. Tracked target overlay. commented out stuff from all my refactoring. Register with Northstar overlay if it has. Okay, so add screen overlay. That we do this, we do that, that. Okay. Well, here's the compass bar. We probably have an add method here, right? Probably just finished the placing the evergreen objects rather. Edge computer populate add overlay. Boom. This is the one. So it happens here. It happens register with the compass bar if it's populated and we're enabling it. So both the compass bar has to be there. If it's not, then we have no object. So don't do anything no matter what. And the track target has to enable the compass bar, which is going to be true if we are overriding the compass bar. We're going to check to see if our option on the settings is to enable it. Otherwise, we're going to do wherever the default is. So that might return false. We can overwrite. How did my cookies turn out? They're in the fridge. I have to do that before cutting and baking. Making cookies. Hello, Midnight Oil Software LLC. How are you? All right, so this is where we add the overlay if we're adding it. Oops, wrong button. Go back here, add overlay. What are we doing here? Trying to get that. If we can't, then it's already, or okay, if we already have it in the dictionary, then it's already registered. This should never happen, but just in case. If this is null, then we return, can't be null. So we instantiate an overlay. And this should all be working because this is the same one. I think, is this the same one for the? No, it's not the same one. We do the populate for the evergreen objects here. Okay, populate, and then we just add them. Oh, I think I made a note for myself, didn't I? To do. I did. Oh, here we go. Move a lot of this to the evergreen object script. That's what I did right before going to bed and forgetting everything that I did. Evergreen object. Evergreen object. So this is the script on the evergreen objects. And it just has data for the most part and an awake right now. But what I was thinking is it makes more sense for the compass bar to do the placements on those scripts themselves so they can place themselves. This script doesn't have to do the actual placement. It can just say, hey, you do your placement. Do it now, please. Thank you very much. So this gets called on update place evergreen objects for each one. We're going to do this stuff. So let's move this to the evergreen object. So we're going to say object.value.place place on bar, and we will just create that and copy this over. Let me see. We'll see if it works. Okay, that worked. Place on bar. And we will paste that in. So what do we need here? We have the object. It's this. So angle is going to be move with rotation. Get delta from world angle. So this is going to be something we have to think about. We can move that maybe to something else. We also need place object, which is here. Now place object is, I think, maybe we shouldn't move it over because place object is going to be on this. This is going to be used by the other things too. And so it's kind of silly because we're just going to have to get a reference back. So maybe we don't move it over. I'm going to sneeze. Or not. All right, let's not move it over. We can always come back and do that later. Undo this. Undo. We'll keep it the way it is for now. And maybe we'll refactor that later. Okay, so that's working. We're going to be fine with that. We're going to move place object is the other thing. We're going to be place target icons, and we'll do that private void place target icons. All right, and then we're gonna do something. Let's check what we do when we add overlay. We add it to our dictionary. Screen overlay. We instantiate it. I think this is the old code, and so I'm gonna have to update this. I just copied it. All right, screen overlay icons. Okay. Screen overlay. It's probably fine, actually. Update this to use new horizontal bar option. Set horizontal bar. Man, I can't remember what I was doing last night. Is that normal? Northstar compass bar. Pre-compute screen values, set values. Okay. Okay, I think I'm understanding now. Setup. So this is setup, this is set horizontal bar. They're going to be different things, but similar things. Okay. Compass bar is what we're really calling it. So setup compass bar. Change the name of that. All right, so Northstar compass bar value. Pre-compute screen values. So this is going to be different. This is going to be pre-compute compass bar values, because they might be different than the other ones. Highland Panic. Screen, blah, 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 blah. Pre-compute saved values. We don't need to do this for... We don't need to do this for this one. No pre-computation needed. Set values, however, are going to be similar yet different. And so it's going to be set compass bar values. All right. If the overlay is null, then we return. If don't show if the target is disabled or destroyed, correct. Image.enabled. Okay, so this is the issue here. There's no arrow on this one. Okay, so the screen overlay and edge overlay are the same icon. It just the arrow gets added. So that's why we only have one image, not two, and then the arrow image. So we're gonna have to create a new image reference, because this one's going to be for the image compass bar. And honestly, we're going to have new rect transform for it too, I would assume. And rect transform compass bar. Okay. What is this? Silence call. Weird. Spam junk. Okay. Sorry for that. Sometimes you just gotta check your phone. Where was I? All this code, all these properties. Set compass bar values. All right, so it's going to be image compass bar enabled. None of this arrow crap for this. Compute how much we need to blend between the screen and offset. Nope, not for this one. We're in the middle of the screen and not using the screen overlay. Don't show it. Incorrect. That does not happen in this context either. Main sprite, image compass bar equals enabled. The sprite. The sprite can be changed at runtime. Notify property changes in model binding contexts, aka making data that can bind to a UI and automatically keep it in sync with the UI elements and the data, etc. Sure. Maybe not right now. Let me finish, get this to a point where it quote unquote works, and then when I go into the next phase of refactoring, i.e. making it better, I'd love to learn more. Also, when it's not 2 or 3 a.m. or 2 or 3:30 a.m. For you. See? We're on the same wavelength there. Rect transform compass bar. Position equals position. And this is going to be a thing. Why is this position? Oh, because we didn't, in the other one, we just find a position somewhere. Where we set the position. Okay, we can calculate a position though. So let's see. This is actually going to be on Northstar compass bar probably. Probably going to move all this to Northstar compass bar, but or not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Fun fact on sprites: did you know? You can assign the override sprite field instead of a sprite and be able to switch state. I did not know that. I did not know that there was an .override sprite field. That's good to know. What would be really neat if there was a built-in morphing mechanism between sprites. That was one thing that I was like, oh, I would really love to be able to morph the sprite from one thing to another, you know. But that's a whole nother asset store package, really. Oops, what did I do? All right, so we're gonna calculate this differently. For this one, position's going to be north. Get position. You think it's get position, get book, GitHub, Copilot. It's not. It's not get position. It is something similar though. What is it? It's place object. That's what we're trying to do. We're just going to call place object. See, this is where all these are going to be refactored because I'm just doing too much here. And that's probably why I said, let me move this to the other thing, because there's just too much going on with all these different things that you have to keep track of. So get position on bar. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here on this, instead of doing it all on this script, we're going to move it to Northstar compass bar and tell Northstar compass bar to do it. So we're going to set these still here. What else do we need set here? The size delta. This is going to be compass bar. Sprite size. Do we have that yet? Probably not. Okay, wait. We're doing a little. So no. Let's redo this. We are not lerping. We're just going straight to the compass bar size multiplied by the screen distance percent curve, which is going to be changed to the compass bar distance percent curve. All right, and then so we are going to do that here for now. Might refactor that later. We are going to do that. We are not going to do this. The opacity, we're not any arrows. And color, yes, we're going to do that here, at least for now. Overlay, sprite, no. Compass bar, sprite, opacity. Again, we're not lerping between these things. And then compass bar, distance percent, opacity. And again, not lerping. Color lerp, no color lerping happening here. That's going to be compass bar sprite color. But we are going to set it because, like I said, you can update this at runtime. So if it gets updated at runtime, it has to update itself, you know. So we are going to then set these here, but we also need to get the fade amount. And that's this fade at edges thing here. What do we do here? This one takes in an object and it sets the fade. It takes its color and then it sets its fade to be compute fade angle. And this probably should take in its current so that it doesn't go above that. So let's add that. We're going to say we'll say color.a, and on compute fade edges we will add to this float current alpha equals 1, and then we will return the maximum of these two. No, not the maximum. The minimum. Yeah. math.min of that and current alpha. And there you go. That way, if it's 0.5, if where our alpha is 0.5 and the fade says you can be at 0.8 because you're not faded out that much, we'll still do 0.5. It'll stay 0.5 until it gets to the point where it would otherwise go below 0.5. And then if it's 0, it's 0 no matter what it currently is otherwise. So we can still do this, and then we will do the rest. So then we will do set position using Northstar compass bar, and then we will set fade value using Northstar compass bar, and let's see if the AI can figure it out. Can the AI figure it out? Nope, it cannot. Does not seem to figure it out. So we will say Northstar compass bar set what was it? I can't even figure it out. Compute fade edges, fade at edges, place object. Yeah, it's gonna be place object. Is this not public? It wasn't public. This is where we're gonna have to do some refactoring soon, I believe, because this is what we really want to be able to do is just pass in the object, have it figure out the rest. So we're gonna say pass in our is just this. Yeah. Create, we'll create a new one. Can we not do that? Okay, let's go here and do it manually. Public void place object, and we're going to pass in a screen overlay icon, screen overlay icon, and then do something with it there. And then we will do the Northstar compass bar dot set fade value. This, at least it's getting that part right. Or it's close to it. Set fade at edges. Oh, I guess we call it at the end of this, so we don't have to call it there. Okay. Okay. So we need a few things. Fix these first, and that just means creating new properties. Compass bar, sprite size. These properties are complex because there's a lot of options. Okay, if we are override compass bar sprite size, do we not have? Do we not add that? I think I took out the word sprite. Okay. So the original size is going to be computed, and then we're going to find the sprite size is going to be compass bar sprite size use curve. Sprite size use curve compass bar evaluate compass bar distance %, otherwise the original size. And then the third thing, so you've got the default, you've got the target, which can override its settings, and then you have the third one, which is a scripting override, where you can just inject whatever you want there and say, I don't care what it's supposed to be, I want to control it. And that's this one, the override right here. So we're going to override max size, compass bar max size, override compass bar, and we're going to probably adjust these values at some point to the field names. Is going to be the minimum between the two. Wait. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So it's -1 if we're not overriding. So if we are overriding, then we're given the minimum between the two. Shouldn't that just be whatever? Oh, but if we're using the curve. I see, because if we're using the curve, then it has to be that we can override the max size, but not the minimum. Okay, that's fine. All right, so now we have to add these. Did I not add them? I guess I didn't add them last night. There's a lot of overriding going on here. Okay, it's going to be all of these. And yeah. So compass bar. And we're just going to copy and paste this all the way down. Super fun. Copy paste is one of the coolest things that was ever invented. Somebody, you know, invented copy paste, right? Somebody or a team of people at Xerox or wherever or somewhere was like, we should have an option to copy and paste. And then there was a meeting room where they decided that those hotkeys are going to be C and V. And then that's it. From then on, that was it. I think it was Steve Gutenberg during Police Academy 3, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. It may have been 4. So, all right. So we got those. What are we missing now? Override. Compass bar sprite size. Didn't it? Yeah. Okay. Compass bar sprite size. Use curve. So now we need these. Compass bar sprite size. Use curve is gonna be track target. Override. Compass bar sprite size. Target default. Screen is gonna be compass bar. Compass bar. Let's make sure I didn't. I did. See, I changed the name and confused myself. All right, so we got that one. Next one is the size, compass bar sprite size curve. Compass bar. It's well worth all this work. All right. I guarantee it. Compass bar distance percent. It will make your game so much nicer and give you so many options. So many options. Distance target, screen distance. Nope, it's going to be compass bar distance. And apparently we haven't set that up yet, so we need to go down. Wait, screen distance. Min, max. Okay. Max. Okay. Screen distance. Compass bar, distance, min, and max. All right, so if we are overriding compass bar, so this means you can have the option to buff your character, your player, to make them see further. Override compass bar distance min, override distance max. Otherwise, tracked override the distance compass bar max compass bar. Okay, now we need to add these override compass bar distance min and max on the screen overlay. I usually would have done this when I was doing the editor part. I usually do that first, but I think I forgot to do it last night, or I just didn't get to it and I didn't realize that until just now. All right. Where were we just working on? This one. All right. So next is override compass bar max size. Where's our... Oh, okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. You realize what I'm going to have to do is also... Might as well do these all while we're at it. Color value. I'm sure my code is missing actually using some of these, but... Compass bar. But we will figure that out in the future. Okay. All right, so those are done, and this one now, what do we have? Set compass bar values. So compass bar sprite size, compass bar distance percent curve. So we will copy this one. We'll make both of these at the same time. Compass bar. Well worth all the copy pasting. Screen space, screen use curve. Okay, screen sprite use curve, screen distance percent. Compass bar, compass bar, compass bar. All right, now we need compass bar opacity curve. Compass bar opacity use curve. Override that. Target settings. Compass bar sprite use opacity curve. Okay, and then this one, compass bar. I think my eyes need to be checked. Okay. Now the compass bar sprite opacity. All right. Overlay compass bar sprite opacity. Compass bar sprite opacity. Compass bar. Override compass bar max opacity. Okay, that's right. Okay. Compass bar distance percent opacity. Ah, I just misspelled it. There we go. Compass bar sprite color. Override compass bar color. Override compass bar color value. Override compass bar sprite color. Target settings, compass bar sprite color. Sprite color. All right. All of that to do set compass bar values. So in set compass bar values, just go over it again. If we're actually showing it, we're going to make sure it's enabled, make sure the sprite's updated to the sprite we want, set the delta, the size, set the opacity and the color, and then we're going to place the object. And placing the object will do other stuff. So let's see, and I'm definitely going to end up refactoring this, or 99% sure I'm going to refactor this at some point. So in this place object, we're taking the object, the angle, whether we're clamping it, whether we're overriding. I think some of these options aren't even on this yet, to be honest. Let me see. All right, so when we have an object, a screen object, that's instantiated at runtime, the screen overlay icon. That's not this object, this is the tracked object. It creates an icon that goes on the screen, hence the name screen overlay icon. And that's the thing that has a reference to its stuff. And so in the set values here, we have reference to our image. We have a reference to, in any of these, our settings, tracked target overlay. So that's what we're going to be really using. Our tracked target overlay is going to be using the default settings unless we override them, and we did not add that yet. So we probably should add that yet or now, because we have our compass bar settings here, but we don't have the ability to override them here, and we need to do that. But that's how we're gonna get the stuff through. So what are our options in we have our compass bar icon color. What we don't have is the other fancy options. So let's start refactoring that and moving the options from wait a minute, let me think. So it does make sense to have some of these options on this object, because this is the image itself, and depending on what image you're using, you might have different things on, like the fade angle and whatnot, and these evergreen things. But the decision on whether things stop at the end, that would be on your scriptable object. Okay. So yes, we will move that here. So let me add those here. We're going to go to the Northstar overlay settings. Whoops, I can't type Northstar overlay settings and the settings editor. And we're going to go double window here. And we're going to, do I have the width for this? Let's find out. Kind of. I want to be able to see this. Okay. So we're going to add a few things. The other thing is evergreen objects. Move this one over here. So this is the things we're going to be overriding. The object itself is control the angle it's at. So that's going to be on the target. Overriding the Y position will also be there. Move with rotation will also, I mean, the target has to move with rotation. Otherwise that's ridiculous. So, fade at edges. Okay, this is going to be a default one. Whether we have fade at edges, and then the clamping. I don't know what the use max alpha is for. Okay, so these two will definitely be moved over to Northstar overlay settings. So let's add this for the compass bar. So public bool fade at edges equals true, and public bool clamp position at edges equals false. All right, and then in our editor version, we have to add those down here somewhere. Probably add them at the top above icon. So let's search for, oh, what just happened? I made a copy of it, or a new window of it. Search for compass bar and this symbol. Okay, so icon, here we go. We're gonna just kind of copy this over and we'll just update them. So label is going to be, and we're actually going to do it slightly different, because our bools are going to do fade at edges is going to be a left check, fade at edges, symbol info, and we'll do a tooltip, and then what's going on here? Tooltip, what the hell? Oh, I see. There we go. Tooltip. I don't know what's going on. And value is target.fade at edges. Okay. And the tooltip is going to be, when true, the sprite will fade out when it gets close to the edges. Generally, this is desired. Just an FYI. We don't need a button for that, so that's just going to be that. And the other one is going to be clamp position at edges. Clamp position at edges. All right, at edges. And when true, sprites will remain at the edge when they otherwise would have moved off of the horizontal compass bar. If fade at edges is true, they will still fade out based on the fade out distance settings. I believe that's the case. All right, so this should show up here right at the top. And it didn't. It's not my fault. It's Unity or Writer's fault. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. I appreciate it. Magic. There it is. All right. And so now that we have these here, we need to go back to our compass bar here and set those values automatically now. Okay, so these are going to be set by the scriptable object, which means the screen overlay icons can grab it. Which one of these do I want to copy? There's so many. I believe it's this one that we will copy. I'm going to find a bool. Bool. Okay. So this is going to be fade at edges is going to be tracked target overlay override fade at edges. We'll have to add that. Target settings fade at edges, or the default settings fade at edges. And we'll do the same for clamp position at edges. Override clamp position at edges, otherwise clamp position at edges and clamp position at edges. So we will then add those two here. Public bool override clamp position at edges false, and public bool override clamp nope, not clamp, fade at edges equals false. So by default we don't override them. Okay, before we go back to actually implementing it, we now need to allow this to override that, and that will demo it by making the location like not fade and stay at the edge, so we can just see that, because this is the one where it has all the overrides. So we're going to add a new override here. Hold on 1 second. My friends are weird. But I like my friends. They're a good weird. All right, so we're going to add the overrides here. This is on the tracked target overlay, which is right here in the tracked target overlay editor. Target overlay editor is here. So I'm going to move this over to here, and we'll move this back over here, and we need to add options down here for compass bar, overrides. So system toggle first. So we had the, oh no, that one's fine. That was a different window that I need to work on. So, okay. Arrow overrides. Show arrow overrides. We're going to do a gray line and then show compass bar overrides. Oops. And then we will do that here. Show compass bar overrides. Start row, end row, bool check, show compass bar overrides, show arrow overlay overrides. Okay, this is a property. Let's call it show bar overrides. And this is a fun trick, by the way, if you're in your editor scripts, to do the property with a get set that goes with their editor prefs. You can do it with player prefs too, I would imagine, but basically it just gets and sets the values for you. So you just have to do show bar overrides equals and all that nice stuff. Much easier than other ways. Okay, and then we have to do all the overrides. Now, in our Northstar overlay settings, we have all these things that we might override. It's going to look very similar to these other ones, to be honest. So we're going to do some more copy and pasting. I'm glad nobody's been asking me to make the font bigger, because I don't think I will. There's not enough screen space. Actually, I'm going to copy maybe the screen overrides because it's more similar to this one. So let's just copy that over. Screen overlay overrides is going to be all this. So I'm going to copy all of this. Show compass bar overrides. We're going to paste it in and just go down the list and update the things. So override compass bar. Some of them we might need to add, although I think we may have added them all already in that last step of copy pasting. Sprite must be populated. Most of this is just, it's the same, so it's quite easy. Okay. And then we'll add the unique bits for the compass bar as well. This reminds me of when I first made my first social network. Do you know I made a social network years and years and years ago? At this point, 2003, 2004, 2003 and 2004. So it's been 20 years ago. I made a social network. And it was code in PHP and HTML, and I was bad at coding, but made some okay money for a month. And then Craig from Craigslist emailed me. You know, that Craig, he emailed me, and they didn't like what I was doing, and they voted, and they realized, okay, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but they still didn't like it, so they said no. I think they just didn't understand. I was just giving actors what they wanted. Casting calls. And all they had to do was sign up for free. Oh, wait a minute. I have to pay attention. What am I doing here? Sprite, use curve, left check. Okay, that's just the overlay. Okay. Anyways. Hold on. Override compass bar. Okay, override. Alright, suddenly I realized I couldn't, I had to concentrate for a minute. I couldn't just banter on about stuff. Screen size curve. Okay. There we go. That's use curve, and this is just curve. See the difference? One, you choose to override that you're going to use the curve or not. The other one is the actual curve itself. Override compass bar. Do the same for screen or opacity too. Compass bar, use opacity curve. Nope. Override. All right. Almost done with this. Oh. Do we not have this? Oh, no, we do. I just have a capital C here. That's the issue. All right. So let's just check to make sure these show up here proper. And then we'll add the custom values or fields rather for overriding. Okay, it seems like we can do them all. That should be fine. All right, so the other two are the fade and clamp. Target overrides, so we're going to do override clamp. Did we? Okay, we already have those. Good. So in our overlay thing here at the top above the icon, we're going to do start row, override fade at edges. And if we've got that checked, we're going to call this fade at edges. And then otherwise default fade at edges settings. What do I call it here? Values. I call it values later. So values. You have to have values. Overlay settings edge sprite. No. Fade at edges is going to be a it's going to be the one where we have the enabled and disabled. Yeah. Yes, this is what we'll do. I'm going to just copy all this and redo this. All right. So fade at edges. Fade at edges default fade at edges values. All right. And override fade at edges. Fade at nope. Fade at edges. And if we are fading at edges, then we're saying enabled, otherwise disabled. Okay. Fade at edges, enabled or disabled. Okay. And then we'll just do the same for the clamp one, and then we'll check it. Clamp. Clamp position at edges, and I'm going to do POS. Well, let's see if it has enough space. Position at edges, clamp position at edges. Default clamp position at edges values. All right, let's check it. Let's check it out, yo. I think it's because I'm using the beta version of Writer that it doesn't always update the scripts or something, if that makes sense. Or something else entirely. Why wouldn't this be? We are in the track target overlay. Track target overlay. Oh, show edge overrides. I did it in the wrong thing. I think I saw edge and my brain just didn't. So it's going to be show compass bar overrides up here. All right, there we go. Or maybe that was when I was going to copy paste that whole section. Something like that. Either way, I did it in the wrong section, but now it's in the right section. So there we go. Fade at edges, enabled, disabled, clamp position edges. We did have enough space. That's nice. Enabled, disabled. So this is choose whether you want to override it, and then it chooses what the value is when you override it. So for this one, we're not going to fade, and we are going to clamp. All right, now we need to actually get those values. Now that we have them set between the main default and the target objects that can override it, we need to set those values in the code that actually does the work. So that is going to be in our compass bar, Northstar compass bar, where we do the placing of the object. So I'm going to keep this the way it is because it's working for the evergreen objects. I'll refactor it most likely. But for this one, we've got nothing yet. So first we have to say, well, we have an image, so we don't have to check for null there. So it's going to be screen overlay icon dot image rect transform dot do we not have rect transform? We do. It's private though. Okay. Okay, you know what then? Let's try doing this here then. So we're going to see protected. Yeah, that's going to make it easier to override it too with custom code. I think we'll might change it later. Always might change it later. Place object on compass bar. And so instead of doing this, we're just going to call this. And this is going to say rect transform to position is equal to Northstar compass bar dot get position on compass bar, and that's not what it's called. Get position on bar, and it's going to be public then. And this is where we need to start doing some refactoring too. So the angle delta, clamp, override Y. Shoot, are those things that we need to add to? They might be. We're gonna have to go back and add those too. Let's start with the default here, the angle delta. And we have a method for this, I believe. I thought I selected the other one. Angle, get angle delta. Yep. So var angle delta is going to be Northstar compass bar dot get angle delta. We're going to get the target object. What do I call it? I called it something. Tracked target. Ooh, where did I put it? Target camera cover. Tracked object. That's why I called it. That was simple enough. What is this expecting? It's expecting, oh, wrong one. That's the issue. Not get position, angle. Oh, is this, it's not, get angle delta, it needs to be public. Okay. Get angle delta, tracked object. Okay, and then we'll pass that angle delta into the position on bar. And the next one is an optional parameter for clamp. And so now we're going to say clamp position at edges. And then we'll put these other two here. So as well, we'll have to do those overrides. So that does that. And then we need to do the fade, edge fade. So probably move that over too, but let's see. Fade at edges. Yeah, I need to refactor this anyways because I want to use get component here. That's an every frame thing. So we have the compute fade edge. Okay, so make both of these public. Okay, public void fade at edges. I should just copy this. And then we're going to make this one an image. And this one's going to call fade at edges this. Okay. Fade at edges the image and angle. There you go. And we will have to debug.log update this, but I don't want to do debug log every frame either. So we're going to leave it there. I'll do that later. Okay, so now we can then go to our But again, if I want to easily override it with a custom script, it has to be on this script. So we'll do fade at edges of compass bar. And so fade at edges of compass bar and angle delta. Is that what we pass in? And our image image compass bar. We really don't have to pass in the image at all. Okay. Just the angle. And then compute edge fade. I guess, again. So these are actually going to be protected virtual, not public here. So you can override them. Okay, so this is going to be Northstar compass bar.fade angle. And copy this, paste it here, 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 and here. Okay. That should be fine. And we'll change this to make it more clear that it's the compass bar edge fade, not the screen edge fade. All right, so that should be fine. Let's see if it works. That was a lot. That was a lot to do before checking to see if it works. We couldn't have even checked to see if it works. So this is going to be for the location one, which is orange, although I don't think I override that color, so it's probably going to be white. And it should clamp, and it's not even showing up. So, oh, we got some null references. That could be why. I'm going to turn off for now also the edge overlay. So that stops annoying me. Pre-compute full offset. Update this to use new horizontal bar options. And then null reference exception. Image bar, image compass bar enabled. Do we not set that? E. Where do we set this? Awake. Oh. Oh. I'm an idiot. Well, not really. I was just mistaken. So this is the same as that. This is the icon itself. There's no two icons. There's just the one icon. So this is just image for all of these. Set compass bar values. Set values. Okay. All right. So we need to have to do both that and set compass bar values, but we need to only do them if we are using them. So there needs to be a bool on what we are. And so let's put that up here. It's going to be a private bool. Private bool is compass bar icon equals false. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. And make this underscore that. So in our add void add, no, what is it? Somewhere we add this thing. setup. Okay, setup. Then we do is compass bar equals false, and if we set up compass bar, then icon is compass bar is true. And then on our updates, we will say if we're not is compass bar, then return. And for this one, if we are, then return. And then I need to update these to make sure these are set before we choose to set values. Otherwise, those won't run, and it would be a waste of a line of code. All right. Now, let's see if it works. All right, no null references, but I also don't see it yet. Nope, I don't. Do we have one in here? Oh, we do have these places, but they are not at all where they're supposed to be. And my edge is still working, which is not supposed to be happening either. Maybe I never tested that. I thought I did test that. Enable edge overlay. I swear I tested that. All right, so they're showing up, but they're not being positioned correctly. It looks like, to me, to mine eyes. Set compass bar values. Place object at compass bar. All right, debug.log. Tracked object name at angle degrees. Position is that. And because we don't want to have too many things confusing my debug log, I'm going to turn off these 3 demo targets and keep on demo goal target so that we only see one thing spamming our debug logs every frame. All right. At that angle, position is that. So the angle is not being updated. That is the first problem. And then the second problem is the position. All right. So let's first start with the angle. Angle delta. Get angle delta. Wait a minute. We only use this one, so it's not using the player forward. That's the issue. But how do we do the placing the evergreen objects and their angle? Oh, they just have their angle set automatically. Okay, so let's AI this. New chat. This needs to be updated to take into account the player forward. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I already do this somewhere. Northstar Utilities has get angle between 2 points. Ignoring the y-axis from the perspective of point A forward. This is the one we want. So we might not need to AI this after all. So we can say Northstar Northstar utilities dot get angle between source forward is going to be the source is the player or camera transform, and the target vector 3 is our tracked position. Out of our angle, is that what it does? No, it doesn't give me an angle out like that. Yeah, hallucinations. Angle delta equals that. Okay. That should give us the right value. Let's see. Let's see if it does. I thought I had done that because I needed to do it for all the other stuff. Okay. So now we got the angle working. Now it's just the position is off. Now let's see if the angle looks right. If we're looking directly at it, angle is close to 0. Yeah. All right, so this appears to be giving us the right angle. Baby steps, but the position is still definitely not right. All right, let me close this and widen this a little bit. So the position is going to get position on bar, angle delta, clamp position at edges. Bool debug equals false. I'm going to add a little debug here, and we're going to say, because I don't want it spamming for all the other things on the bar, because there's all those evergreen things. So let's see, if debug, then we will do stuff. Debug.log. Angle delta is that, and normalized position, bar position. It could be the Y position thing. No, that's set by the bar. All right, let's just see what it tells us. What? 30 messages from my friends? What the heck? Ooh, yes I do. My friends invited me over to go swimming in her small pool. So I said, yes, I do. Her kid's having issues with this poo, apparently. You're welcome, by the way. All right. So I'm going to finish this up and then go swimming. What's the temperature right now? It's super hot today. Yesterday was even more super hot. I think some of you who watch the show regularly are in the area. It's 99 Fahrenheit right now. That's great. All right, let's see what it says. I thought I had pressed play already. I have all these frozen ice. You know, when we were kids, those ice pops and the little plastic things. I got frozen ones that are margaritas. All right, track. Oh, we didn't do the debug. So What are we looking for? Position. So we need to do false, -1, and true. Okay. Now it will give us our lovely, lovely debug logs. Do you remember where you were when you first realized that Unity had debug logs? There was a time in your life when you didn't know that. All right, so angle delta 88, normalized position, that, and bar position 620. So now let's look at something. It doesn't seem right. So these ones, this is the one we're looking at. This doesn't seem to match that at all. I think there's a delta there of about 634 between these two, maybe. Otherwise, positions 27, positions negative a lot. That doesn't seem right. The X seems reasonable enough, but the Y is the issue. And we can kind of see that here, I think, if we zoom in here, and all the others are way up there. So if we did have this up here, but the minute we do the next frame, it goes back down. So it's the Y value that's being messed up. Now the other thing is, though, for this one over here, oops, not that one, sorry, it is on this one, we do the local position. That is probably then the issue. Local position, let's try that. That would be more appropriate. Yes, because it was really low in the world position. Yes. You know, I remember I had all my enemy script working, and everything was in the update loop back with the Barbarian when I was first working on it. Everything was in the update loop, and then I realized that, oh, there it is. It's not quite right. Then I realized that there were things called methods. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's weird. How is that happening? Okay, so that's unexpected behavior. So we have the thing focusing up there. Now clearly it's not supposed to be going back and forth like that, because now it seems like it's stable. Okay. So that is a thing. We'll need to figure out that right there. But aside from that, it looks like it's working. But this is not unexpected. That I did not expect, that the arrow actually fades in. Is the arrow just already there? That could be it. The arrow's already there. Okay, so it's not that the arrow fades in, it's that it fades out. And then, okay. All right, so interesting. So that's actually a neat effect. Something to consider for maybe. I don't know. It's fine. Anyways, but the bigger issue is, well, now it's a huge jump. Interesting. Interesting. So it's taking into account the Y position, but it shouldn't be taking into account the Y or the angle. Let's see. Get the angle between people ignoring the Y axis. Okay, let's ask Mr. AI or Miss AI or the AI. Is this ignoring the Y axis? Yes. Calculate the angle between 2 points and 3 while disregarding the Y axis. But not the Y angle. Can we make a version that also disregards the Y angle rotation of the source? Yes, you can create such a method. Well, then let's do it. Put that over there. All right, so get angle between 2 points, ignoring source Y rotation. Ignoring rotation. A long method name, ignoring rotation. Well, let's just see if it works. How about that? I think that's what the issue was, because it seemed, it seemed to get bigger. It seems to get bigger as we looked up and down, which suggests that the angle was having a role to play. I may not have been. Okay, so see, as we get up here, it gets bigger and bigger, and now that jump is bigger, and then smaller. So it implies that the angle is being taken into account. But the effect persists. It's still there. So let's check it again. Let's see. What does the code actually do? Should we look at the code? Source forward xz. This represents the forward vector of the source. So maybe this isn't it. Because the angle did appear right before. Right? It wasn't jumping around. In fact, let's just double check this, because we should double check it. All right, so when we are seeing the issue here, where is the issue again? Okay, so we're looking down in our debug log. We're looking at the angle delta. Oh, it indeed jumps from negative to positive. And it indeed goes up and down when we go up and down. So it is that. So I don't think this code is doing what we think it's doing. Camera transform, tracked position. We're going to start a new AI chat. I don't think this is working as intended. The source transform may be tilting up and down. We want to ignore that value and just get the angle to the target, ignoring that tilt in the transform of the source. Interesting. Well, the source is my camera, and as I tilt up, the value when the angle is close to 0 will jump from, say, -4 to 4. And when I'm tilting up, down even more, it'll go from larger values like 10 to -10. If I'm barely tilting, the effect is barely there. Nope. All right, so I thought this was working fine. So let's go back. Let's take a step back here. You just sent me a something. So this stupid, can you see this? See a little something. Okay, this heart covers the words. And so I can give you a heart, which is nice, and I can give you a smiley or a face, but I can't see the words. You sent me a little something. Is it a new board game for my collection? What is this? Why you have to be so heartless? All right, I'll have to check this out later because I think I'm going to go to swim and drink frozen margaritas from a plastic tube, as one does. I do want to I'll check that out later. I'm curious what Magellan is. Is that your system or something else? Curious about that, but I want to see why my other code was working perfectly fine and why this is not working perfectly fine. The other one I gave the angle directly. This one I'm trying to get the angle from this right here, place on bar. So we have different ways of doing the angle delta. So let's just kind of put this here. Get angle between points, and it's going to be vector 3. Yeah, we need the forward, source forward, and let's see if this has the same issue. I believe it does. Magellan may have used a compass. I'll have to check it out. Thanks. All right. All right, so the effect persists, and it goes back and forth. And indeed, as we go up, the angle delta changes. Let me actually look at the code, because I haven't really done that. Now with the AI, you don't have to anymore, right? All right, let's do this. We're going to do a quick test just to see. So we have to make the scene view larger and go in on the... Well, I actually might add that feature at some point, the higher and lower bit. But in general, I just wanted a utility that just does it, you know. It does all sorts of different things, but... where is my player again? Player object. All right. So we have the red. I didn't actually look and see what they were doing. The green is going backward. Oh, wait. No. The green's right. Hey, now the angle delta is not going up and down. Wait a minute. The issue's not happening anymore. Why? I didn't change anything. Is this one of those frustrating times where either because I didn't change a damn thing. I didn't change the code. I just add these debugs. And it could be, this my only thinking is that the code was right, but earlier in the stream, if you remember, I think because I'm using the AI, the beta of Writer, it didn't update the script in Unity. And so maybe that's what was happening. I just needed to save it once more. We still have some things to fix, of course. Yeah, there it is. Oh, yeah, no, it's not. That's, wait. Yeah, because it's now, if I go like this, it's now to the south, but if I go the other side, it will be towards the north. Yeah. All right, so there you go. All right, so there's more to do. I want to make sure I test the override of the color. I want to, I mean, there's so many ways you work this together, because really the idea would be you show up here in that bar, and then as you get close, one fades out, the other fades in, that type of thing. And then this fade out is fine, but I thought I overrode it on this thing, but maybe I didn't. Demo goal, did I? Yeah, it's not supposed to be fading at edges, so that code needs to be updated. So there's some updates to make. But hey, that is called progress, friends. That is called progress. So that's pretty exciting. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. It was a good time. Happy moments. For those of you who watch the Game Dev Show on Fridays, I hope there's going to be one tomorrow. We don't always know if there's going to be one until the last minute. But maybe there will be, and I'll see you then. Otherwise, catch you on the flip side. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to go to the Discord. Don't forget to go to infinitypbr.com. And by the way, if you go to Infinity PBR, not my docs, although you can go to the 2-hour mark. Is that special if I hit the 2-hour mark? Infinitypbr.com, and you click on the See All Assets button. You can go to the Asset Store, and the Asset Store has some neat stuff. And by the way, right now there's a cool sale, and the Low Poly Monster Bundle 2 is part of it, which is very exciting. Unfortunately, not Low Poly Monster Bundle 1. That didn't quite make the cut, it seems. And of course, Game Modules 4 is there. Game Modules 4, by the way, people seem to like it. A lot of good new reviews recently from the new version, which is very nice. Folks are digging it, and I dig it, and all that stuff. And the reviews aren't loading, but they're there. Trust me. Trust me. And for this Northstar system that I'm working on, here they are. Look at that. Powerful. This is a game development game changer. Impressive. Great system. That's from 6 months ago. That was the old version, but the new one's even better. So some good reviews there. But so this Northstar system is going to be separate from that. The little mod, you like those? There's 2 of them, and there's actually 4 of them, but I don't know, they're not making money, so I'm kind of running out of money at the moment, so I need to not order the 3rd one to be animated yet, because the second one's going to be out soon, but they're not making money back, and that's a problem. So, but yeah, see, we need to figure. Earlier in my life, I was thinking about being a billionaire, but I went a different direction, I guess. But no, what was I saying? Oh, game modules. So there's going to be some hooks between this and game modules. I'm needing to figure out some assembly definition stuff or whatever. But the idea will be that if you have Northstar system in your project and game modules in your project, you'll be able to utilize the game modules in some way, shape, or form more easily, or they'll be able to talk back and forth. I don't know exactly how yet. I need to dog food it and figure out the how to do it, but that's that. So there you go. If you have any questions, come to the Discord. I've got questions to answer. I'm backed up on questions. I apologize for that. If any of you are watching and you're like, hey, you haven't answered my question on Discord yet, what the heck? It's just been busy. It's been a busy week. A busy week. And so there you go. And I apologize. But I will get to them probably tonight or tomorrow, because tomorrow I have a day off of work. And the weekend I have days off of work. So there you go. So thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.